So this is our sort of introductory session to Prayer Book Hebrew for Adults. And what I'd like to do is I would like to do a little bit of a review to make sure that everybody's good with foundational things before we move ahead. And then do a little introduction to the Hineini book. Sound good?
Sound good?
So I'm going to do some screen sharing here. Let's see. So one of the things, you all can see this?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. One of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that you have a cheat sheet that you can use for we have for the Alef-Bet and also for vowel pronunciations, which can be a little tricky when you get to things that are, at the end of words and how that works. So I want you to kind of keep those with you, print them out, keep them on a second screen on your computer when we're working. If you feel like that you have to or want to have access to them. What I wanted to do was go over a couple of things. One is the fact that that Hebrew is based on 3-letter roots. Most Hebrew words will, if you look into them, they will have a 3-letter root. If you can find the 3-letter root, chances are you can figure out what they're about. So for instance, when you have a root of Aleph, Hey, Vav, somewhere in the word, that is the word ahava for love. We have a prayer, our second prayer of the Amidah, of the Shema and its blessings in our prayer book has to do with covenant, but it's through God's love for us. So ahavat olam, everlasting love, or in the morning service, ahava rabbah, great love. And so when you can find the roots, and the word ahava is pretty clear here, you know what that means. This is another one that you will see frequently, bet reish chaf. It means to bless. Baruch, baruchu, bracha, which is the word for blessing. Let me see if that's up here. So you have Baruch, so bet reish chaf, and bracha with the hey added at the end to make it a noun. So this is the way it works. We have zayin chaf reish for remember. So when we say the word, when we do a memorial service and we say yisker, which is the way we pronounce it, yiskor, the root is zayin chaf reish. Do you have any questions about that? So for instance, down here where it says command order, tzadi vav hey, what word that you know pretty well are you likely to see this in?
Like the mitzvot?
Yep, mitzvah or mitzvot. We have kuf dalad shin, don. What are you likely to see kuf dalad shin in?
Kadosh.
Good. Kadosh, kiddush, kaddish. All of them have to do with holiness. Shin lamed mem, I think that you guys would know, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Shalom.
Yep.
Shalem. So that's how we we start with the roots and then we add vowels and consonants to make them into conjugations of verbs, to make them into singular or plural nouns, to make them into descriptive words. Sometimes, you'll find that you can make an adjective out of something like that. But as long as you can find the roots, then you're in pretty good shape. Does anybody have any questions about the root system? And as we go along in the vocabulary in the prayer book, we'll look at those roots, because it also tells you how words are connected to each other. Any other questions about that?
Is the structure, is it going to match things that we also see in modern Hebrew? Is there going to be an overlap, or is there more differences, like little nitpicky differences?
There will be overlap. A lot of modern Hebrew is made up.
Yeah.
Because there are no traditional words for a lot of things that modern Hebrew needs words for.
Mhm.
So they kind of make things up.
Mhm.
And so it's harder. It's also a much bigger, broader vocabulary. Prayer book vocabulary is pretty limited, and it's
Okay.
very repetitive.
So slightly easier.
Well, it is, because there are particular themes that that run through the prayer book. The themes of love, the themes of blessing, the theme of peace. So those tend to be repetitive, and so they're easier to spot. In modern Hebrew, first of all, Israelis are very sloppy with the way that they use their language, just as Americans are very sloppy with the English language.
Yep.
And so, but they kind of use code sometimes, just kind of like if you throw out a word or a phrase, you're supposed to know it's like a modern kind of lingo.
Okay.
The other thing that you will find with modern Hebrew, if you're reading like I sometimes read easy Hebrew newspapers that I can share with people.
Yeah, you should share that with me. I'd like to read that.
What you find is that they use a lot of English terms for things.
Cognates, yep.
That it's easier to use an English term that already exists than try to find a way to make up a word in Hebrew for hamburger and pizza.
Yeah.
Such as the big makalat you went to in Jerusalem when you sounded it out.
What?
Supermarket.
Yeah, supermarket.
Supermarket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the pronunciation's different.
Yes. But like when I'm teaching kids and they don't think that they will be able to do it, I have them sound out hamburger, pizza, telephone.
Even the word gargle is the same, gargila.
Yeah. So
it's even the same. Yep.
So that's kind of that's a big difference. It makes it easier to access modern Hebrew in a way. But on the other hand, it's such a much larger vocabulary. You have to have language for things like, military terms.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have language for things like just general living terms, right?
Okay.
Well, where you live, what you wear, what you eat. So it's a more expansive vocabulary than what you're likely to see here. The other thing that you will find in prayer book vocabulary is that it references a lot biblically. So there are going to be weird words thrown in that are very archaic, because we tend to either quote or reference biblical texts, biblical passages, pieces of the Psalms, things from the prophets that just kind of get thrown in. And in our prayer book, it will generally tell you that it's a reference to a particular piece of Torah. Sometimes you just have to, you just kind of hear the sound of it and you know that it's sort of an archaic form.
Yeah. Okay.
That you need to sort of figure out.
Yeah,
But
because Yeah, there's some words that come up. I'm like, I've never really encountered this in modern Hebrew. I'm like, this has to be something super old.
Yes. And what happens is that's why I like our prayer book, because the below the line commentaries will generally tell you
Mhm.
where that language is from and why we put it there.
Okay.
Because the earliest prayer books, because they were not really prayer books that were printed and available to everybody, they were handwritten scrolls or handwritten codices that the leader would recite. And there was a lot of biblical material that was put into the prayers so that people would be able to recognize it and know what it was.
Ah, okay.
So any other questions about that? Don, you good?
No, I'm good.
So I thought we would just review some pieces. Some of these are from the most of them are from the evening service, a couple from the morning service. Some of them are used in both. But they are things that you are likely to see at some point in the prayer book, in one of the 5 parts of a prayer service. When I teach the kids, I teach them that the number of sections in a prayer book, in a prayer service, there's 5. You can count them on one hand.
Mhm.
And as we go through, we'll see, what's involved in those 5 things. So, let's see, Annette, would you like to start? This is Psalm 92 is something that is traditional in welcoming the Sabbath, the first part of our Sabbath service.
Okay.
And it's actually, there's some music that's put to it that I don't think that we have ever used. There's like a modern melody that I don't think we've ever used, that because we tend to kind of go through those early Psalms pretty quickly. But it's something that I might pull out for the summer.
Ooh, that
So
would be fun.
yeah, so if you would like to read that.
Okay. First one, the Psalm 92.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Mizmor Shir Layom HaShabbat Tov Lahadot.
So
Lahi.
there's a dot in between
Yeah,
the
what is
hey and
that?
the daled.
Yeah. So that would
So
be. So what would I change there? The
So
dot there
that
confuses me.
that's an O sound in between.
Ah.
Every
Oh.
consonant, yeah, every consonant has to have a vowel attached to it, and
Okay.
sometimes they're hard to spot.
That one was hard to spot between the dalet and the
Yes.
hey. Okay, let me try that one again. Lahodot.
So le,
Oh, lehodot.
because it's a shva, the 2 dots, it gives you sort of a partial sound.
Ah,
The shva, when you use it at the beginning of a word or the beginning of a syllable,
so it's
has a
just
little guttural sound.
Okay.
And if it closes a word or a syllable, it doesn't have any sound.
Okay.
So like you were you were sort of like me's more. So so that shva, it's hard to see that it's a shva, is a closure, so it doesn't have any sound to it really, as opposed to le yom at the beginning of a word, it gives a little sound, like a
so it's
partial vowel,
like a little schwa sound.
Yes.
So it would be lehodot.
Lehodot, good.
Lehodot. Okay. So this would be la ya. Okay, let me see. So la, same thing like a ya.
Well, so this one is a little hard. That's why
Yeah,
they
that's a
throw
tricky
this one at you.
Yeah.
Because Yud Hey Vav Hey is the way that we sometimes print God's name. We always pronounce it Adonai.
Ah, okay.
So whether it is the Yud Hey Vav Hey or the Yud Yud that you see in the Yehid Ratzon, so it loses the yud because the yud is just like a place marker.
Ah, okay. So it would just be La Adonai?
Just Ladonai.
Ladonai. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you can kind of elude them.
Okay. So
Ladonai is fine.
Ladonai. Okay. Ula Zamer.
So, so you can go ahead. That can be a closure. So ul.
Ul Zamer.
Uh-huh.
Then Le Shimcha.
Uh-huh.
So that would be Al Yon.
So it's hard to see. That's 3 dots.
Oh,
So
Elyon.
that's Elyon.
There we go. Yeah, because it looked like the ah sound.
I know I don't know if it gets any better when I make it bigger.
People ask how old I am. I'm like old enough that stuff looks small years old.
Yes, exactly. So that may help a little bit.
Okay.
Don, do you want to take the second piece from Psalm 19?
Okay.
This one's a little tricky.
What? Vehiho?
So it's kind of like just licky you.
Oh, Vihu? Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's
Vihu.
he, which has just the little sound.
Yeah,
And then the
Vihu.
you, yeah.
La Razon. Imre. That's a fee, right?
Yes.
Yep. The heg eon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Lafedak Adonai.
Okay, so le don
Lafa.
fa ne
Yeah.
fa.
Okay. Lafinach.
Lo, no, honey. Le fa necha.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
Ne he ak.
Okay. No. Le.
Yeah.
We'll just sound it. Le fa ne.
E ak.
No. There's a ha at the end.
Okay.
You've got the final half, but you've got a vowel in it.
Oh, okay.
You've got a kamatza there.
Okay.
So
that's
le fa ne ha.
the last sound is, I'm sorry, it's an
Ha.
F.
Ha. Ha. It's a chet. It's a chaf.
Okay. Lafinach.
Le fa.
Fa. Ne e ak.
No. Other way. Le
Yeah.
fa ne cha. Can you
Okay.
get that? Are you hearing me?
I can hear you, but I'm not getting it. Let
So-
me do one little review, okay?
What? What were you saying, Don?
I'm just doing a little review here myself.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
lefanecha.
Yeah.
Is that cha
Yeah,
sound?
and-
Yeah, like you're clearing your throat.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
this? You see that extra
So
little
that's
line?
a final pay, which is final pay. Fair.
No, it's a final half.
Right? Okay. Okay, I'll have to review that later.
So here, it's a half sofit.
Okay.
So final half. So
Okay.
ha sound. Ha as in ba. But because there's a vowel in it, the vowel comes last. So le fa ne ha. Because you have the ending vowel sound in there.
Uh-huh.
So lefanecha.
Lafaneka.
Yes.
Yay.
And
Okay.
and the most Hebrew words are accented at the end unless the word tells you otherwise. Here you see this extra little vertical line right there.
Yeah.
Next to the segol means that's where you emphasize it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's lifa necha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to keep going?
Lafaneka Adonai. Zuri.
Uh-huh.
Bago Ali. Bago
Good.
Ali.
V'gol Ali. And
Yep.
again, because the shva is at the beginning, it gives you that little guttural sort of a half vowel. The, meaning and. The or u at the beginning of a word is an and. So go Ali. Okay. Annette, would you just like to try like the first line of this?
Sure. So, Lecha Adonai Hagadola Ve this one is Hagavora
Mm-hmm.
Ve Hatif Ere. That one's tricky. Ha Ve Hatif Eret.
Good.
Hatiferet.
Yes, because
That's a tricky one with the two
the-
E's.
well, the
The
accent is here instead of here.
Yeah,
Instead
that
of
one
at
was
the end,
tricky.
so hatif eret.
Hatif Eret. Oh, because Hatif Eret. Is that root for like? No, that wouldn't be the root for the earth. That's Eret.
No.
Okay.
That's a word that means glory. or beauty.
Glory. Okay.
Okay. Don, you want to take the second line?
It's a tough one. Bahane Sakha.
Just the ch at the end.
Probably?
Vahanetzach.
Yeah.
Got
Try
it?
one more time.
Vahanetzach.
Nesa. Okay.
Do you got it?
Yeah. Bo Heha Ho Do.
The-
The ha ho do. The
You're
ha
making
ho.
it just with the dalet at the end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The ha ho do.
no, just vahahod.
Ahod? Okay.
The
Ha ho.
hod.
Okay. Ki Cole
Mhm.
Basha Maim.
Okay, so where is the accent?
The mem. Bashamayim.
Bashamayim.
Yeah.
So the heavens, Bashamayim.
So when we have that vertical line beside the niku dots and the vowel markings, that's where we put the emphasis then.
Yes. And
Okay.
so as you will see, and that in the first word of your next line here,
Mhm.
see where it is.
Uba aretz. Oh, so
Yes.
that's again,
Yeah.
that's earth.
Yes.
So Lecha Adonai Hamam La. Oh, that one's hard. So the words, where would the word stress be on that one?
It would be at the
Hamam
end.
lacha. Oh, okay. So Hamam laka. It's just a ka sound, not a ka, right?
It's hamamlacha.
Oh, so it is the ka. So Hamam
Because there's no
lacha.
dot in it, it's a soft sound.
Okay, so
So
it's a
ka and cha.
Okay, so that's
The dot in the mem doesn't really mean anything.
yeah.
It's an obscure grammatical reason that it's there.
Mhm.
But you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so that one's Hamam lacha.
Yes.
And this is Vehamim. Nope, let me try that again. Vahamit nase, lekol, le, le roche.
LaRoche. Good. So, and again, you have that dot right there. That's your only clue
For
of
what-
what the vowel is in between
Yeah.
there.
Then in modern Hebrew, it's like no niku dots. Figure it out.
No, that's right. You're just supposed to know.
Good luck. Sink or swim. Poof.
That's why I get, there used to be a really good easy newspaper that I used to work with students with that doesn't exist anymore,
Oh,
where on the back pages it would be with Nukudot.
mm-hmm.
So you could read stories that were a little bit easier and then graduate to the regular modern Hebrew.
It's crazy. I didn't believe that when my professor was teaching me. She said, "You'll know, you'll figure it out. It'll be instinct." I'm like, "She's crazy. This is never gonna make sense." And then it does, because you kind of get used to certain spelling combinations.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
So that's all the time that we have for this morning. These are going to be shorter lessons because I think that breaking it into little pieces to process every week.
Yes.
What I would like to do if you all would like to practice the second part of this page at home.
Mhm.
Again, these are from our prayer book.
Mhm.
And so if you need to look at the transliteration in the prayer book, you have that. If you want to grab a prayer book from and borrow one from the temple, you're welcome to do that.
Okay, I'll grab one Friday then, if that's okay.
But in the meantime, it's something, keep an eye on the hidden vowels and
Mhm.
keep an eye on the what we call the meteg, which is
Meteg.
where it tells you to accent it.
Okay, that's super helpful. Thank you.
And then I am going to load this down as like an MP4. And we'll take it from there. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
I'm
I
gonna
was
stop
already
this.
with the next one.
What?
I was already with the next one.
Okay, well, go ahead and do it. Then we're gonna let people in for the next class.
Adonai Shafati.
No. Don.
What?
Si. Fa. Tai.
Shafati, right?
No, it's a sin.
Oh, Sinfati.
Sifatai.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a
I'll wait till next week.
Okay, well, we'll work on it, okay? I'm
Yep.
gonna stop the screen share. And is everybody staying?